Hey everyone, Lori Rising here of the rawandwildhearts.com, and I'm jumping on to let you know that I'm sharing a live stream of my 2026 timeline availability and themes, energies, and astrology. So it's not going to be a pre-recorded video. You're going to see me interacting with people that showed up to the live experience. If you are enjoying this, if you get support from this, which I know you will, so make sure you stay to the end and you do the integration of the concepts that come through, just like the people that came live and had so many wonderful things to say about it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on my channel, hit the notification bell so that you're alerted when I drop anything. Like this video, comment on it, share it with someone you know will love it too. This is so important to help my channel grow because it is noisier than ever in the online space. And for those of us that are truly here to benefit humanity, to do the soul medicine and work that moves the needle for all of us to start living in more abundance, benevolence, and deep spaces of love, we need your help. We need to have our channels grow, but the only way they grow is by you saying that you care, that you want more of it, that it's actually impacting you and supporting you. So, one of those things is great. All of them is top notch. I really appreciate it. So let me know in the comments below what spoke to you the most. Let me know in the comments below where you are feeling resistance and what is actually starting to break through, especially through this time that we're about to spend together. And if you are ready to collapse the gap and the timeline of what you're experiencing now and what you desire to experience and the new identity that you're ready to embody, come on into my world. Get into the description box below. Channel my online program to Unlearn the Matrix is starting in January 2026. If you're listening to this video later, there will be another iteration of channel beginning. So don't let the January fool you. Channel will be an ongoing experience because it is so incredibly impactful. It is life changing. You don't have to learn how to be spiritual, how to be in alignment, or how to ascend. You've got to clear the density. You've got to disrupt the generational patterns, the old beliefs, and the stories and suffering that you're living from. That's what we do in Channel. Then you get to ride this beautifully co-created, divinely led life as it was meant to be. So, babe, I want to see you there. Let's freaking go. Stop trying to do this on your own. Invest in the environment that holds you while you move through the growth edge that you've backed away from over and over and over again. Not just in this lifetime, but in lifetimes. I can't wait to see you there. All right, let's get into the video, y'all. Okay. So, welcome to this 2026 energy overview experience. My name is Lori Rising, if you're new to my world, and I am a channeler, a transformational mentor, and a sacred guide. And I am here to walk the path with the divine disruptors who know that they came to shift humanity. You know that this is the time that you signed up for. And these are the challenges, the triggers, the obstacles, the patterns that you came here to shift. And that's why you show up to these circles, because something in your soul is guiding you and calling you back home. So this is where we disrupt. We disrupt those generational patterns. We disrupt the collective narrative, the conditioning, the scarcity, the fear, the control. And we start to truly live from and embody our wholeness. When we're in our wholeness, we are unshakable. When we're in our wholeness, we have a deep trust in this experience, all of it, the contrast and duality, not just the ease and the ascension, but also the shadow and the challenge, in order to live more of our divine embodiment, our divine calling, our soul's medicine that only we came here to share with the world. Tell me if this is resonating with you, if you're feeling a yes on this, even if you can't always find the how, you know that you are being called to something so much greater. You know that you are the disruptor. You know that you are the light leader, the bridge holder, the way shower. Yes, it's resonating. So that is why you're called to come and work with me. I speak beyond your mind. I speak to your cells for higher catalyzation of the cells in the DNA, upgrading the cells in the DNA, and truly living from your innate language of energy, frequency, and light. And 2026 is a massive pivotal year in moving from conceptualizing life and reacting to life to trusting, embodying, and leading in life, leading from your unique imprint, your blueprint, your soul. This is where we really do start to let go of the programming and the conditioning, of the beliefs, of the stories, of the suffering. Now, the reality is, as humans, we came here to experience it all. We came here to experience the whole spectrum of emotion. We also did come here to experience pain because pain is within that spectrum. Sadness, grief, all of it. But we also have every ability to move through it. What happens when we start to create a story about our experience is it becomes suffering. But when we can invite those experiences for deeper transformation at the root and a higher ascension from the lessons and the learning, and even the pain and the grief and the sadness and the sorrow, we step more or back into our wholeness because any experience at any time in our life can create that separation from our soul's truth, that separation from our trust in humanity. And we are the greatest healer that has ever walked this earth for our lives and ourself. We are the ones that walk us back into the wholeness. And when you invest your time, your money, your energy in environments and spaces and circles like this, that's where you get the ROI, the return on investment. That's where you really do start coming back, all the way back. You are whole, you are healed, you are worthy. Nothing has changed there. And we go through a plethora of experiences here in this life that can create that separation from that. And we also find our way back to it. That's the dance of this human experience of the physical here on earth. So Stephanie says it has felt frustrating how long it seems to take for me to release the old programming, but patience. Now, I am going to blow that up for you, Stephanie. This is actually an old paradigm that it takes a long time to heal and that it takes something outside of us to change in order to heal. And we're going to be talking about that today because these are really big things for themes for 2026. But right off the bat, I want to look at those beliefs. I want to excavate those beliefs. Because even when we continue to say something, we're creating it in our reality. So your reality, your observed reality is created from your inner dialogue and thoughts and beliefs. And sometimes that can be a hard pill to swallow. And also, when you do start shifting at the root in your cells and your heart, and you start clearing that density from your cells, you realize the ease in which you get to shift into the desires rather than what you don't want, or rather than what feels negative in your life. So the reason I want to bring this up is because I work real time. It's so important that we refine every single moment of our day because this, my friends, is a way of life. This isn't just when you come to these circles or when you take time to do the meditation. It's actually more important that you You alchemize what you've conceptualized in spirituality and in transformation in your everyday moments. And you make the choice. You do it different. That includes shifting environments because you will be the product of your environment as well. So this means that you've got to be diligent and you've got to be intentional and you have to have this desire through your body, your mind, your soul, and your energy. That includes your stream of consciousness, what you are taking in every single day, because you are an energetic sponge. Like I said, you are energy, light, and frequency before you are words and reality. Words and reality are a reaction. The beginning, the root, is what's happening in your frequency. And so it does take that continual choice to shift it in every moment of every day. Does it get easier? Yes, it does. How do I know? Because I've done this for myself. I live from a state of abundance. I live from a state of wealth consciousness, and it doesn't depend on something shifting in my world. It comes from my root. And I move through very, very deep matriarchal lineage abandonment wounds and very intense physical experiences in my lifetime. And I didn't know that I would come back. There was a time where I didn't think I was going to come back. I didn't really want to come back, and I did. We are so resilient. Do you believe that? This is the first thing, is to really start getting radically honest and authentic about your beliefs. No one else chooses your beliefs for you. The environment and the collective will influence them, but ultimately, all of this comes down to you, your choice, which you have a choice every single day, all day long, and your creation. Now, if you live in a chronic state of stress, that is not the state that creates ease in creating and being the artist of your life. It is a state that puts you into negativity. It looks for negativity. It has to. There's no like good or bad here. It's the reality that when you're in a fight or flight or stress state for a chronic experience, you will be looking for the negative. Then you're fighting against yourself because you're trying to overcome or manifest on top of the negative. And that takes a heck of a lot of energy. Now, me saying all this, we're also living and moving through the cycles and seasons. So I'm going to be talking about some astrology today because we will be influenced and affected by what's happening in the planets, what's happening in nature, what's happening in all of the cycles and seasons around us. And when you have more mastery in that space, you allow yourself to move through the ebbs and the flows in trust rather than resistance. And you let yourself go internal when it's time to really dig within and excavate and reveal what's ready to come up. This happens in the retrograde periods. We're now just moving out of some very big retrograde periods. And I'll chat about that. And so when you have more of an awareness in these happenings in life, in energy, in the world around you, and even in the universe, you can like capitalize on them. You can amplify with them. So we are moving into some really great expansion in 2026. And that's why I want to talk about this because yes, it feels it feels like a little bit relentless with 2025 because it was bringing up so much of what's not working for us anymore, so much of the patterns and those loops that we've normalized in our experience. And yes, that can feel exhausting because it's almost like we just keep getting hit by them, they're like bombarding us on a daily basis. 2025 was there for a purpose. And now we move to 2026, just like in the astrological wheel. If we start in Aries and we move to Taurus, we start with cardinal, we move to fixed, and then we move to mutable energies. There's a reason for those cycles and seasons as well. So you can look at this with the moon, with astrology, you can look at this in natural seasons around you. Like you can look at this in the Chinese New Year, just like Tomas just shared. So the Chinese New Year is the year of the fire horse. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about this, but it's not happening yet. We're still in the year of the wood snake until February 17th of 2026. So you are still shedding, just like Stephanie was talking about. She's still feeling some of these things that are ready to be released. The old programming, the loops, the patterns. So I don't know if I said something wrong, but yes, it's the year of the fire horse that comes in February 17th. Right now, we're still in the year of the wood snake. Yes, the wood snake. Thank you. So that's the Chinese cycle and season. Okay. So I just want to let me know if you have any questions as I continue to move on. Are you resonating with me? Is this feeling like a yes inside? Let me know in the chat. Yes, Lisa says yes. Tomas says yes. Stephanie says yes, but I saw the horse and wanted to ride in the summer. Yes, still shedding. Jenna, yes. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the energies and I'm going to share about the astrology a little bit deeper because it is really impactful. And I'm going to talk about Three Eye Atlas as well. Let me know if you don't know what Three Eye Atlas is in the chat. So 2025 was the year of the squeeze. And it was actually a year of confusion as well. And this is one of the biggest things that we have happening astrologically is Saturn and Neptune have been retrograding in Pisces. And that has felt like you're feeling isolated. You're feeling like you don't know how to shift something, even if you have the awareness of what it is. It's like this deep resistance and this deep confusion. And even you're feeling maybe disillusioned in life or in some area of your life, something like that. So 2025 was a time to really get clear on what's not working. You've had moments over these years, especially the last 5-ish years. You've had moments that you've had that clarity, you've had that kind of like divine sight, but it's actually still been really easy to come back to the comfortable and what's known. Now, this is a dance that's happening between you personally and the collective, right? So it's the micro and the macro within our human experience. So as you shift internally, personally, you'll feel the collective shift. As the collective shifts, you'll shift as well. So everything is, it's holographic, it's reflective, it's everything is a mirror for us and it's coming from us, right? So 2025 really did feel like that squeeze or that constriction, and that lines up with the year of the wood snake in that showing you what needs to be shed. And I also feel like if any of you have given birth before, if you know anything about birth, there's this time of transition, which is the only time in birth that stress comes on naturally because it has to in order to propel the baby to move into the birth path. And we skew birth because we create stress we bring stress from our own beliefs and our own experience in it. But this is the time that biophysically stress comes on. It's called transition. And it's the moment where a mom gets really kind of shocked by that experience because she's not controlling it. She's not like in the driver's seat of it. And that's a moment where a mom will shut down and try to turn birth off and decide it's not going to happen and want to go home and like there's just this moment and it's so fast and it's so kind of extreme and then it passes because that's how we move, right? That's how energy moves and the stress hormones they start to decrease. I feel like 2025 has been a lot of that transition. If you look at 2020 through 2024, it was, like new things coming on and lots of change and, seeing just kind of navigating our way through things that felt maybe uncontrollable, but trying to find control in our lives. And then 2025 comes on, and to me, that's really the transition, right? The transition between all of this new experience and kind of like tumultuous energies coming up that we hadn't been used to in all of our lives because we became very complacent and we also became very stagnant. And 2020 hit and it really shifted that stagnation. Am I right? All right, so then we move into 2025, and if you can even see 2025 as the whole year being that transition time where you don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know if change is really going to come, and you want to just shut it down. It feels really confusing, it feels really overwhelming. It feels like you're doing this on your own and you're not getting the answers. That's exactly what happens in transition for moms. They don't have any reference point when the stress hormones suddenly come on the scene and burst in order to move them forward. This is where they have to actually surrender into divine trust. So, as we move into 2026, this is what I see as the divine trust. So, you have the awareness now, you've brought it up, right, from the subconscious to the conscious of what isn't working. Tell me in the chat, do you know in your life an area that keeps kind of like coming up and hitting that wall? It's not working. Maybe you keep getting triggered. Maybe you keep feeling challenged. Maybe nothing is shifting no matter what you try. And what you're trying is probably something that's pretty familiar for you. So now is where you move into the space where you let go. And as soon as a mom lets go and trusts her body, trusts God, divine source, that this is trust the baby, like there is something greater than her at work here. It moves her and the baby into the birthing phase. And the birthing phase is actually designed to move very quickly when we have that full surrender in trust, that relaxation into it. So to me, 2026 is more of that relaxation into there being a different way, something new. And when you have that deep space of trust, do you know what else happens? Which is what we came here to experience and was conditioned out of us? Anybody want to say in the chat? Let me know. Any ideas? When we have the trust, something happens for us that we came into experience that we've been pushing against for a long time. Miracles, yes. Soul purpose, yes. Connection, yes. All of this. There's something that leads it. Intuition, yes. It's evolution, babes. It's evolution. We have been conditioned, we've conditioned our nervous system to fear change. And that's what happened for so many years, right? We got very stuck, very stagnant, and very deep in expectation of how life should be. And that was led by control. If during transition a mom tries to control what's happening, constriction happens. And that's what creates that very long time delay in birth because muscles tighten up and the baby has a very hard time moving through to come into the world from a place of constriction and control. This is the micro and macro. I was a childbirth educator for 10 years. And honestly, you can look at what happens on the day, the 2 days of childbirth, and you can look at the whole collective, how that's happening for the whole collective in a much bigger and like expansive way. So When you really do step into trust and you allow evolution to happen, which means you embody rather than conceptualize what's not working, and you take the bold, courageous action to release what's no longer serving you, what's lowering your frequency in a place of trust out of the stories and the expectations, evolution happens, and all of the things that you all just put in the chat are a result. Connection, miracles, soul purpose, intuition, peace, joy, and faith. And in that space, you are co-creating this experience. You're not meant to create and expect and control it. You are meant to receive the divine guidance and the soul's wisdom that is actually trying to unlock what your soul's purpose here. But when we follow a pattern or a formula, we get separated from that soul's truth. And that's when overwhelm happens. That's when we get depressed in our energy. That's when we have more mental health symptoms. That's when we have physical ailments and pains, because we're not vibrating in our full life force energy. We're not in our alignment with our soul's purpose and truth. That's literally the fuel. It's the fuel for this experience. Hi, soul. Yay. Your words are an oasis in the desert of my soul. I love that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm actually speaking slowly to you because I really am desiring for your heart to hear this. Because yes, you will make decisions that may feel hard, challenging. They may feel sad. They may create grief. And you're meant to experience that and move through it for what's on the other side. When you fear those feelings, you stop the evolution of your life, the change, growth, and evolution that you came here to experience. The miracles are all around. There are people that are meant to be, I'm sure you've heard this. There are people for your life for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. They're not all meant to be on this ride with you forever. And we can interchange that. It doesn't have to be people, it can be places, locations, jobs, right? It can be so many things that you feel that restriction in your experience right now. When you can start to allow these evolutions and this release of what's not serving you from a place of power rather than from a place of loss, you're in mastery. Notice when you are trying to force yourself to go away from something that you don't like. When you can honor something that was in your life and you can open the energy towards what you desire, guess what happens there? Your frequency rises and you become more magnetic. If you're forcing yourself away from something you don't like, you have to keep forcing and keep pushing that energy away. I can speak to this about relationships. Many people will self-sacrifice and stay in a relationship or fear what's on the other side and think that this is as good as it gets, or, there's so many stories. And so in order to leave, they will create a situation where they have to hate that person and allow that hate or that anger to keep them away. That's putting your energy into what you don't want. And it actually keeps you entangled in it. Does this help? Is this supportive right now? I'm going a little away from 2026, but it felt like it was important. Let me know. Yes. Thank you, Jenna. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going deeply into this because we have created a habit of beautiful, Patsy. This is spot on. We've created a habit of learning and not embodying. So if you are just like what we're doing right now, I can tell you all these things and you can say yes, yes, yes. But if you don't refine your everyday moments and your energy and frequency, then you'll stay in the loop. Okay. So this is where you've got to find the courage in the moment where you feel the resistance, you feel the pattern, you feel the loop. You have to decide to do it different and make other choices that raise your frequency instead of lowering it. So I'm saying this because there's some themes for 2026. The first one is trust, right? Trust and evolution. The second one is frequency leads. This is actually very simple, y'all. We overcomplicate everything. If you start to listen and execute, these are other themes for 2026. If you start to listen and execute and you stay diligent, that when your nervous system says something feels dangerous, it feels dysregulated. When your frequency is lowering to match someone else, you'll be self-sacrificing, you'll be angry, you'll be resentful. When your energy is depleted, this is information for your soul. This is information that something is not for you or something deeply needs to change in that experience, and you have to show up in a new way to create that change and growth. And if this involves someone else, they've got to be able to meet you in that realm of change and growth. If you're doing all the work and they're not, it will continue to be imbalanced and you will keep lowering your frequency to meet them where they are. And if you are dedicated to this way of life, if you want to live in soul freedom, in your soul purpose, in wealth consciousness, and in abundance that's not reliant on one resource, then you will make these decisions. You will do the thing. You will find the energy and the momentum to start to truly shift these things and embody the new identity of you. The only one who can do this for you is you. The way you collapse the timeline of this is you invest. You invest in mentors, in guides that help you, support you, and help you to embody the energy and the frequency and the desire. If you try to do this alone, it's very, very easy to be sucked into the energy of somebody else or something else, or be sucked into those old beliefs and patterns because they've got their hooks in us. And you've got to be supported by people who know the power of you, who know how swearing, who know how freaking magnificent you are. And when they have that belief, even when you wobble, you can borrow their belief while you wobble. And then you move through the growth edge. Most people back away from the growth edge. Are you ready to move through the growth edge in 2026? Are you ready to finally experience what's on the other side? There is some beauty coming. So, G, that is something that I would love to talk about, but it feels not appropriate for this conversation and this chat. It is something that I do talk about a lot in my world, but this just doesn't feel right, like the right space to go into that arena right now. But I honor you for that question. It's a good question and there are really fantastic answers for it. Okay? I just want you to know that. Okay? So the first thing is, without anything else happening, do look at your beliefs. Look at the words that you say. Are they rooted in possibility or are they rooted in expectation or control? Are they rooted in something being finite? Because you can take any question or statement and you can shift it into a higher frequency that's curious. It doesn't have to be a statement that you don't necessarily believe yet, but once you open up in a space of curiosity, then that allows more information, more soul's wisdom, and more people that might have like great wisdom for you to enter the arena. Okay. So, does that make sense? How you can just shift it into curiosity and possibility. I wonder if it's possible. I wonder. That's the first step. That's the seed, babes. That's where you start in the energy. That's the root. Because if you continue to make statements that are rooted in what's not possible, that will be what you continue to see in your reflective reality. Yeah, exactly, Stephanie. I wonder, let's try. I wonder what it would feel like. So if you keep feeling yourself in this resistance place, like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, take what you don't want and shift it into, I wonder what it would feel like to have what's on the other side, the desire. What would it feel like? And then you can start actually feeling that inside, which is your creator energy. And this is the magnetism that you blast out into the physical reality that brings more from that frequency. Okay? Is that making sense for everybody? Any questions about that? It's a big one. And it's powerful. If you can master this, you are on your way. Let me know if you have questions about it or if it's making sense. Is anybody doing it right now? Are you taking something you've been stuck on and shifting it? I want to hear it in the chat. Share it with everybody. Let's do this real time. Do it while I keep talking. I really do want to see. Be the leader. Lead from example and share with other people and know that it's actually going to shift something for somebody else when you do take something that's happening internally and offer it externally. That's your declaration. So I want to see somebody in the chat. Take something you've been challenged with, a trigger that you've been having come up, and shift it into the possibility. Let's go. I know there's somebody out there that's like gonna lead here and is gonna say, yes, I'm gonna do this. I'm doing it right now. I'm declaring this right now. Okay, so all right, here we go. Patsy, thank you. I've decided in December to release judgment and active advising my child. Let them live and experience on their path. I am available when needed. Confidence in my own knowing. Okay, so you all, I really want you to actually do this. It's so important that you just don't say the thing. You get into the curiosity with your words, with the vibration that you're sharing. So I wonder what it would feel like to have confidence in my knowing, to have confidence in my channel, to actually make new decisions and take actions from what my heart is saying to me, right, Lisa? So I wonder what that would feel like. Just by saying, I wonder what that would feel like, it expands your energy field to actually feel it more, to start to feel it even though you haven't experienced it yet. That's manifestation. But the part of manifestation that has to happen is you have to make the new decisions from that feeling. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. I'm giving you sparkles. All right, here we go. Back to the themes. Back to the themes. So 2026 is where you're going to allow your frequency to lead. You're going to listen to your frequency, to your heart and your energy, and you're going to execute. The more you execute in your everyday moments, like what we're doing right now, the more it becomes your default. Again, I can pinky swear promise this to you because I live from this now. Because I relentlessly did this work until I broke through those patterns, especially of abandonment that I lived from my whole life that I thought were just a part of my experience. And that was like kind of the lot that I was given in life. We are exquisite healers. And you have the power to do this too. You have to create the environment around you that believes that, and you will collapse the timeline. Okay? So really start to show up. Don't allow yourself to go back into the old way, the reaction and the habit. Even if somebody else is still doing their reaction and habit, you raise your frequency and you start living from that. So when you feel something that drags you down and brings your frequency down, you have to decide that you're going to shift that. And how does that look? What steps and actions are you going to take? Just take the first one. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to have an end result. There is no end here. This is all an unfolding and evolution. There's not even an end when we leave this body. We just change form. We're energy and we move from physical back to spirit and essence. Okay, so you do this. This is why I'm going so deep into this. You do this in 2026 through all of the energies that we're going to move through. 2027 will be the ascent. Ascension is easy. We don't work at ascension. We don't learn how to ascend. We clear the density and we come back to the remembrance of the ascended self. That's the unity consciousness. Okay. So the ascent in 2027 is dependent on how you actually now embody the release of what felt really stuck, stagnant, confusing, hard in 2025, because it's not working anymore in the way that you've been doing it. Making sense? Let me know in the chat if this is making sense. Because I'm going to talk a little bit now about some activation points in 2026, and then we're gonna do a guided activation. Are you all following me? Are you there? Let me know. Hi, Anastasia. I'm going to kind of summarize this. If you are working on your beliefs and a close friend is pulling you back, is what it sounds like, you simplify this. If your close friend is pulling you back constantly, that's lowering your frequency. So you have to make new decisions about that. This can also come into a space where you protect your energy and peace. It doesn't mean that you force people out of your life if you feel like they're aligned to continue in your life and they're meant to be there. It's not, just in and out. But um you decide what your energy is available for. You decide what your frequency is available for. This is mastery. This is deeper stuff that I'm taking you into. So if you don't follow some of the things that I'm sharing, that's okay. Trust that you came here and you're here to receive something, even if it's being seated in your subconscious and you're not quite there consciously yet. Just trust. Just receive without trying to figure it all out. But let your frequency lead you. If someone keeps draining you, you've got to make a decision there. You can't keep waiting for them to change. That's a self-sacrifice. That's actually putting yourself on the back burner and it's separating you from your soul's truth. So let the frequency lead you and make decisions from there. Again, even if it means you protect your energy and peace and you give people so much, but you don't give them everything. You don't give them the opportunity to keep pulling you down by frequency. Does that make sense, Anastasia? Okay, so there's going to be 3 activation points in 2026. We already have a lot coming up in January. We're at January 1st. January 3rd is the Cancer full moon, and that's a cardinal energy. And the full moon is a culmination point. And the Cancer energy is all about intuition, receptivity, the divine feminine, the home, not just your home around you, but your home within. So really take stock here. It's like, when you're cleaning out your home, clean out your home. Use this full moon energy to release the things that just aren't creating that space of safety for you and release them in trust and power, right? Like, don't create a story around it. Evolution doesn't mean that anything is black and white. It never means something's done forever because you can allow things to come back together in a higher frequency. But this does mean like, How do you create the most aligned, sacred home space that you can for your emotional world, for your energy, so that you can get present and find that peace and actually hear the messages of your divine guidance instead of trying to force your life. Also on the third, we have the Quadrantids meteor shower. So you might be able to get underneath the magic of meteors. It's going to be a little harder to see them because of the full moon light, but it's a beautiful meteor shower. I always get out under the meteor showers to really just remember the magic and the abundance of this experience. That's what it does for me. February is a massive activation point. So this is a 12,000 year event in February. We talked about the Chinese New Year happening February 17th. So really use this time in January and the first half of February to get radically honest with yourself. Only you can do that. Get honest with yourself about your beliefs, about what you're dragging along, about the things that just feel heavy and feel so challenging, and about the ways that you keep trying to do something in the same way that's not working anymore, right? And then February 20th is when Saturn and Neptune conjunct at the world access point at 0 degrees of Aries. This is the 12,000 year event. This is really big. This is signaling something moving forward that we've never experienced before. And I do want to bring in Three Eye Atlas here because Three Eye Atlas showed up July 1st, and it's basically, I feel like it's leading. It's leading in this space of possibility and showing us how limited we are when we try to confine or define anything. And when we can allow something to offer in a way that we haven't seen historically, it's going to be the offering of what we believe is possible. And so Three Eye Atlas has been making its, going through its path and doing really surprising, I think, beautiful things. And people, scientists are stunned. They don't know how to explain it or how to talk about it. But if we can just let this be something that is like an example for us in these human bodies, which is our highest technology, our human bodies, and we don't even realize that because we've been outsourcing our power for so long, you'll start listening to your body's messages and saying yes to them. So when you eat a food that literally tanks your energy and makes you feel like crap, you're going to stop doing that. You're going to start doing more what you desire to feel like in your body. Or if you're going out partying and having hangovers and takes a couple of days to recover, you're going to start listening to that because you're going to start feeling that natural high that comes when your body is clear, when your energy is clear, when you're in alignment, when you have clarity in your relationships and in your environment. You literally start levitating, like you literally are the miracle that gets produced. And I feel like Three Eye Atlas is showing that to us. So it's kind of moving it along. It just came closest to the Earth on December 19th. It's going to come closest to Jupiter in March. And I think that this is really significant. And we think it's going to leave our solar system after that. But again, can we get away from creating expectations and allow it to just kind of show us its magic and receive its magic? Because that's what I want you to do with your body. That's what I want you to do with your experience in your life, which is why I did want to bring Three Eye Atlas into this. So in, okay, so that's February. Massive. Massive. Okay. The Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries is big, especially because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the birth, like the birth I was talking about. It's the leader. Aries shows up before it takes in what everybody else wants it to be. You can imagine this with your parents growing up, right? Like, you came in and you're like, the world is my oyster. And then your parents decided that they wanted you to be a certain way based on how they viewed the world. That's not, we're not here to own anybody else, even as parents. And that's where I feel like that's going to start shifting in the family dynamic as well. So Now let's go to April. April is another massive activation point where Uranus is going to move into Gemini. Uranus has been in Taurus. We've experienced it in Gemini a little bit, but this is going to be a really big shift because Taurus has more of that stagnant energy. Taurus has more of the scarcity energy. And I feel like Uranus and Taurus has been bringing up all of these scarcity programs we've been running through in our money, in our love, in our self-love, in our time, in our energy, and honestly, the scarcity programs of the lineage before us. So now that we're going to move into Gemini, everything Taurus kind of unearthed in that, we're going to have like this new ability to it's like the manifestation. Like we're going to think new, we're going to have new inspirations. There's going to be like big quick changes in the way that we think. It might feel a little off balance because we're not used to that, but the more that you can open up to receive it because it's going to be very fast moving energy, that's going to help you actually create the healing and the new experience of those old scarcity beliefs and narratives and programs. So, South Carolina, hi Chris, welcome. Yes, Spirit drew you into the live stream and astrology is your jam. Yay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, so we love Uranus and Gemini. The more Gemini, especially when Chiron gets to Gemini, I feel like we will actually have the mastery of manifestation where it will be thought, reality, thought, reality. Right now, we're going through a whole journey of manifestation because we're still navigating and swimming these old scarcity waters. But that's really changing in 2026. But you have to be the most active participant in that. So that's happening in April. Also in April, I think we have, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure we have 7 planets in Aries in April, which is not something that normally happens. And again, this is the leadership quality. We have some, if you don't know astrology, don't worry, just receive. Hi, 7. We have some really cool sextiles happening between Pluto and Saturn and Neptune and Uranus. And that's been something that hasn't really happened either. And that's been really helpful in where we're going to go. So again, 2026, you're going to have so much support. It's going to really be showing up for you in a way that you didn't feel it in 2025, but you have to be available to receive it. Okay, so April, that's going to be big, big movement, big leadership, big unfiltered experience in your soul's truth and who you are, the core of who you are, your identity before anybody else got a hold of you with what they wanted you to be. Okay, you've been carving away at all of that and coming back into your authentic voice and self. And this really is where you're going to be expressing it more from a place of trust, of deep understanding, right? Like instead of, I talk about this a lot in my business and my circles is when you go on stage, like let's say you're having to give a speech, but you're doing a speech based on memorization, which has been our linear educational system, you're out of alignment because you don't believe it. You're regurgitating something else or someone else's words, and it's not your lived experience. When you start sharing your lived experience, you won't have stage fright, you won't have fear. When you believe it without a doubt in your heart and cells, you will show up and you will have the megaphone and you will share it and no longer worry about anyone else's response or reaction. Again, here we come back to the trust. The trust is that it's coming out not just for you, but for those that you came to share your soul medicine with. Even if it's not for some of the people that are in your sphere, that's none of your business. It doesn't even matter. You're here to share what you know and believe deeply within. Okay? Does this make sense? Hi, Alicia. Welcome. Show up and just glow. Yes. I say keep glowing, keep growing. No, I say keep growing, keep going, keep growing, keep glowing. Yes. Yes, divine timing to receive what you needed to hear. Beautiful. All right, so let's move to July. July is where we're going to have a nodal shift. This nodal shift is going to be significant because we're going to have the north node move into Aquarius and the south node move into Leo. So the North Node in Aquarius is not going to be conjunct, but it's going to be in the same sign as Pluto. So we already have Pluto working in Aquarius, and that's the massive activation, the bridge into the golden age, the bridge into the age of Aquarius, which is what we are. We're bridge holders. We came to do like the deepest freaking work, y'all. Like, this is no joke. When I talk about this, it may seem like I talk about it in ease, but it is at times relentless. You have to be hungry for this. You have to want it so much. You have to want it in like the pit, the core of your soul, because you will have to go through the shadow and the muck and the challenge and the resistance. And then you receive the alchemy of the light. And then there are generations to come that are going to be levitating as soon as they come in because of what we've done. So I just want to honor you for saying yes to this experience. It is not for the faint of heart. And I believe in you. I believe so deeply in you. Okay, so we have the nodal shift happening. We've got three-eye Atlas coming closest to Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion that supposedly is its final kind of conjunction that it's making, even though it's not a full conjunction, but its final pass by one of the planets is going to be Jupiter in March. And then we also have Jupiter moving into Leo. So it's interesting that we're going to have the South Node in Leo and Jupiter in Leo. So Jupiter is going to expand the higher frequency of Leo for us, which is more of your courage, more of your inner joy, your inner play, your inner child, because your inner child knew what your dreams were. And then your mind decided they were just dreams, but your inner child knew it was the code that you came here to unlock. So let yourself go back to the inner child, remember those dreams, and know that they weren't a fantasy. The linear system that we live in made you believe that they were. We're changing that. And it's going to really have you lead more from a heart-led space, a heart-led life. Okay. So that's kind of, I just wanted to share those three really big activation points in 2026. And then when we move from July towards 2027, we do have a Venus retrograde coming and then a Mars retrograde in the beginning of 2027. But again, the work that you do in this trust, evolution, and frequency leading is going to, again, not bring you back to where you've experienced retrogrades before. You're going to be able to activate like the desire or the higher space of the retrograde because there's not going to be so much to excavate anymore. Okay. So that's kind of, I'm going to wrap that up. How does this feel? I know it's a lot of information. I don't typically talk this much because it's important that we move beyond the mind and not just rely on listening, and then multitasking and going on to the next thing, because that keeps us up here. It doesn't ground us. It doesn't have us present in our heart, which is where all the guidance is trying to take you on this beautiful amusement ride of your life. So if you stay in the mind, you can really shut down what's your map, because your map is not going to be like anybody else's. So you've got to be able to receive that and be present for that. And when you live in the abundance consciousness and you really feel inner resourced and fully whole as who you are, presence is like the result of that. Presence is the gift of that. Okay, nobody's sharing in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. We're going to activate. I want you to activate the heart center now. We want to open the heart for everything that you've received. It's been a lot. I know it's been a lot. I actually shared more than I thought I was going to. I did a lot more mentorship in the beginning. So for those of you that were here in the beginning, I hope that gets embodied. Really bring it in. Anybody want to show up in the chat? See, now somebody just left and they left before the embodiment. I want this to be an example. If you just show up to listen and you're like, okay, I get it. And then you go on to the next thing, you're activating more of the mind and the hustle mentality. That's not going to serve you. Always, always, always stay for the embodiment. Receive it in the heart and the cells. Chris, you're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is everything I needed? You're welcome. Tomas, I made notes in my planner. Inspiring and resonates. Thank you. Yay. I love it. Okay. So if you can do this standing up or sitting down, if you're sitting down, you're going to get on the edge of your seat. I'm going to put on a little music for this. Get a drink of water. Get yourself grounded. Start letting go of your mind. And just trust that you received exactly what was meant for you, exactly what you came for. Kathleen, yes, feeling deeply inspired. I love it. Gorgeous. Yay. Okay. All right. So you're going to sit on the edge of your seat and mind officially blown. I'm home exactly where I need to be. I love it. Beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work with the heart and the breath. And we're going to inhale. And as you inhale, you're really going to open your heart up. We so often close our heart off because of the suffering and the stories that we're carrying. So you're really going to breathe in that inspiration and open your heart up. Look who came to say hello. My little healer kitty. Jesus is here. Okay. And then you're going to inhale and then you're going to exhale and you're going to twist down. So you can put your hands on your knees, have your knees wide apart, and you're going to twist down as you exhale. And then you're going to inhale back up and then you're going to exhale and twist down again. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into this and just really start finding that rhythm with your breath and your body and your heart. So inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, exhale, twist. Keep going. Notice how tight the back of your heart is, and just let yourself soften in as you're twisting and just meet your body where it's at, but allow yourself to go just a little bit further. Really open the heart. Twist down, exhale. As you open the heart to the front, this is where you give. You give without expectation. You give from a place of centeredness, of wholeness. And when you're not feeling centered and whole, you come back within. You find that balance within. And as you open the back of the heart really allows you to receive. If you want to work on manifestation, you've got to work on your muscle of receiving and your muscle of trust. Those two things are really important and they have been very skewed for us. So open the back of the heart to really receive. Keep going. You're doing great. Receive without guilt. Notice how you respond in your body when someone gives you a compliment. When someone offers you something, is there this place of guilt or self-sacrifice or justification that you feel like needs to happen? Because that will actually hold you back from receiving all of the wealth that's on its way to you. So these are great practice techniques to practice working on your receiving muscle, your giving muscle, and your trust muscle. Keep going. And as you feel more expansion from within, more spaciousness in the spine and the heart, really sit with what landed for you today. Sit with even one transmission that kind of like punched you in the gut and you were like, that was for me. So as you continue to open the heart up, allow yourself with your eyes closed to feel that. Feel the life, feel the identity of you, the version of you that lives from that lives in that experience, that makes decisions in that experience. Keep going with your heart. And just let that feeling come up really big inside of you. Feel it as it spreads from your heart. It's rooted in your heart and spreads from your heart through your whole body. And it's moving into every one of your cells. It's lighting all of your cells up like crystalline energy moving through your cells. It's like with your eyes closed, you can actually experience this life right here and right now. It's not even your imagination. This is you. This is your identity. This is the version of you that you've been on your way towards this entire time. This is the moment as your heart opens and expands that you decide, you declare. This is the foundation. This is the root of where I go in my life. This is what guides me from my heart, from my frequency, from my energy. This is where I make new decisions. This is where I feel more courage. This is where I take that first step and trust that more is going to be magnetized because my frequency is higher, because my energy is aligned, because my magnetism is on fire. Because I came here to be magnetic. I came here to receive the life and the dreams and the soul's purpose and the mission. I use my mind, I use my decisions, I use my actions to say yes to it. And I trust that as I move through 2026, this is that birth. And I am an active participant in that birth. And it comes easier. The more that I trust, the more that I change, the more that I grow, the more that I evolve. I am ready. I am so ready because this feeling right here and right now, it feels so good. My heart is so open. I feel the depth of the love that I am. And this is what I carry forward with me. This is what fuels me to release all of those words, those behaviors, those experiences, those people that continue to bring my frequency down. And I hold it all in love and I release it in love and in power. I feel the desire rising within me. And it feels so good. And now bring yourself back to neutral, continuing with your eyes closed. And we're really going to alchemize this now. So take in a deep breath all the way to your belly. Hold it in the belly and squeeze your energy up from your root all the way to your crown, like a little light elevator dinging up your chakras. When it reaches your crown, it just bursts through your crown, connecting with your highest self easily, effortlessly. You feel your multi-dimension, and as you're ready to exhale, sigh it out. Ah, softening down as you expire. Anything that is expired that's still living in your body, anything that you've excavated and revealed today. Again, breathe in, squeezing the energy up from your root all the way to your crown, and letting it out. Ah. Truly relaxing and softening in. The more relaxed you are, the easier change happens. This is where growth truly lives. This is where creativity begins. This is where you become the artist of your life rather than the reactor of life. Okay, and we're going to finalize this, and we're going to finalize it with a big ah. You're going to feel your ah move through your heart space and center. So breathe in. Hold it. Maybe give yourself a little smile. Maybe you feel this light moving through you and around you. Your aura may have shifted. Trust yourself on whatever's arriving. And when you're ready, beautiful, punctuating it right there. Gorgeous. Come on back. How are you feeling? I'd love to hear how you have received everything from today. It's been a big day for us together. There was a part of me that considered not doing a call today, but I'm so happy I did. Massive. Yay, Kathleen. Beautiful. Anybody else want to share how they're feeling? How does your heart feel? Deep gratitude and bliss. Yes. Alicia, expansion. Lori, you have integrated exactly what I channeled New Year's morning as we let go of the energy of the old identity. Yes. Alicia, everybody read Alicia's share. It's a big one. It's a beautiful one. Uh, you're welcome. Yes. Light and relaxed expansion. I'm so grateful you did. I'm already experiencing embodiment. Gorgeous. Yeah, that was a big one, y'all. So remember, this is so important. When you move forward, if you're listening to YouTube or if you're here on Insight Timer and you're listening to people talk, if they don't offer you an alchemy or an embodiment, do it on your own. Even if it's 60 seconds of breath work, you've got to find that place. Don't just move on to the next thing in your mind because it will stay up here. You've really got to come down and integrate it, be present with it. So, thank you again. This has been beautiful. Happy 2026. Happy 1 year, the year of your birth, of your wholeness, of your divine soul purpose, mission, and blueprint that you came in to express. I'm ready to receive all of you in that space. So, thank you again.
And now, nearing the end of channel, I feel like one of the things that she is so excellent at is helping people live on purpose in a whole new way, to really like take the reins of their lives, to get into the driver's seat of their lives and like take command of who they are, how they're showing up, and where they're going. And she's awesome. Yeah.
I dove back into her channel program with both feet, and I've really been enjoying that so much, and just having like really huge breakthroughs, challenging a lot of my patterns and noticing how I'm like arguing with my limitations, and it's just like introducing all this language and concepts that I just was never even really aware of. I'm just really excited to be in a place of transformation and healing and growth.
I keep having friends come up to me telling me that I'm like glowing.
Especially like having the channel here, it's like really got me focused and like excited. I've been in multiple of Lori's containers, and every time it's just a different elevation. There's different revelations, and this one though just really was wide opening in so many ways. Lori, like, holy shit, you just like were like mic dropping every module.
Would I recommend this course? Oh my God, 100%. Lori has always said that Lori Rising is like rising into the ether. She is the most magnificent, powerful light worker that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and I believe that she is a light in this universe that cannot be compared. There is literally something otherworldly about your presence, your messages, your energy, and it changes us all. It certainly changes me, and it's just been such a privilege and an honor to work with you once again.